which it stands,
one nation, under God,
indivisible,
with liberty and justice for all.
Guns, self-defense, concealed carry. This is the Patriot Defense Podcast. From the war room in Idaho's high desert, here's your host, Todd Eccles.
And I am back. It is early on a Saturday morning, and I am tucked away in the war room somewhere in the high desert of southern Idaho. And yeah, you probably aren't going to hear this podcast till Sunday, but I am recording it on Saturday because today, Saturday, is when we have the least desirable weather. We have rain, we have wind, and tomorrow is supposed to be a lot nicer. And I have a little bit of time today, so I thought, why not do it today and take advantage of the nicer weather, which will be tomorrow. So there you go. Occasionally, I can get this done early and get this done when I want to get it done. I'm sitting here today. I come out here this morning, and I'm going to do the podcast, and I'm sitting over there in my chair, and I'm just kind of hanging out. I got to let the room warm up. It was a little cold this morning in here. I'm sitting there trying to figure out, sometimes I actually have a plan. Today, I have no plan. I know it probably never sounds like I have a plan for the podcast. But today I'm just like, what am I going to talk about? This week was kind of slow class-wise. It was spring break. People are busy doing other things. I had my women's classes, two of my women's classes meet in the evenings. And so that was fun. They're all shooting this week. We shot last time they were here. We kind of introduced them. These are all the beginner groups, so I've got a lot of brand new students in these classes that some have barely ever fired a gun. If not, their first time was when we fired the firearms like 2 weeks ago. And so before I get them into some drills and some different things, tonight was the last time they showed up, we helped them, and we're always there to help. But it was like a one-on-one, get you shooting. Okay, show you what to do. Okay, you're good to go. Go ahead and keep shooting, and then bring the next person in and next student down and get them started, that kind of thing. This week, it was kind of like, let's see what you remember. Like, I'm there to help, but here you go. Pick your lane. We're just going to shoot, try to shoot a minimum of 50 rounds. I think most people shot about 100 rounds each. And just go ahead and try. Let's try to do this. We went over the safety rules. Let's try and see what you remember. Let's see if you remember the grip, the fundamentals, how your gun functions and works. And that for the most part, they did pretty good. What I do is I kind of position myself behind them, kind of wander up and down the line, back and forth, answering questions, helping those that need help. You got to kind of have to get them out of their shell. They're new to this, a lot of them. And so we got to get them on the right path. Now, just like in every group, whenever I have a group of people shooting, it's one thing that rears its ugly head every single time, and that is, people can remember the grip, people can remember lots of stuff, but it's mastering that trigger press. So we have a lot of trigger press issues. I won't call them issues, but we just got to put in some more time. They got to put in some more time. Doing dry fire. I know there's a couple of them that are doing everything perfect except for that trigger press. So once they get that mastered, I know that they'll be doing real well. I didn't really have any. Trying to think. I didn't really have any other classes this week. Just those set up. I had a kids defense class set up for actually this morning, but I didn't get any takers on that. And it's because sometimes when Todd schedules things, when I schedule things, I don't actually look beyond my little world when I look at the calendar. And it was spring break, man. It was like the weekend at the very end of spring break. I'm like, no wonder no one signed up for any of these classes. So, oh man, my wife's like, you need to ask me before you schedule stuff. Ask me, man, because I will schedule classes. Like, I'll try and schedule classes and create a schedule like over the top of birthdays, over the top of holidays, over the top of spring break. Like, I don't even, for some reason, my phone calendar doesn't have those things marked, and I'm not, I guess, smart enough to realize it. I get in scheduling mode and I just go for it. And then it just comes back and bites me later on. So coming up, though, in June and even into July, we have the pistol rifle combo. I am looking forward to that class. It's kind of a run what you brung type of thing. So last year we did this, and we did it with the pistol and the AR-15. Now we can do that same thing. We were running the pistol from open carry last year. We're going to run it from concealed carry this year. So from concealed, whether that be appendix or whatever that is, that's how we're going to do that one. So I am kind of looking forward to that. That will be a fun one. I'm looking at my calendar here real quick. That will be a fun class, and it's like bring whatever rifle you got, man. If you want to run that with a Cricket 22 AR, or not 22 AR, Cricket 22. Sorry, I'm looking at my phone reading notes. Need to drink more coffee this morning. If you want to run that with a lever action, a Cricket 22, that would be great to see. Or whatever rifle you have that you might pick up at your house to use in a defensive situation. I'm hoping to get some PCCs in there. Do that, man. It's going to be a fun class. It's a lot of work. It's a lot of rifle, a lot of pistol, then combo, and then you come back for another course challenge. So we're really, really looking forward to that. I even have a defensive pistol dynamics coming up, and that's what I was looking at my calendar for. That is, I believe, on May 3rd. So that's going to be an awesome class. I did those. I was doing that class last year, and we do everything from the holster. So we make sure you understand the correct draw, stroke out of the holster, make sure you're safe, make sure you're whatever. We'll teach you how to manage recoil and stuff like that. But everything we do comes out of the holster. And so I think that class is a slotted. I'd have to look back again. I get them confused. All the classes kind of confused. But I want to say it's like 300 or 400 rounds. So that's almost 300 or 400 reps that you get drawing from the holster, which you're going to benefit immensely from that. When you can start drawing that much and adding that live fire to it like that, you're going to benefit tremendously. It's going to start off probably, if you're new to that, it's going to start off a little sloppy. Then you're going to get smooth, and it's going to be awesome. I mean, it's a really, really, really good class. So I look forward to that. When that comes up, you can sign up for all of them. I'll throw the links back up again on the Facebook page if you're local, on all the social medias. Check it out. I need to call the person who manages my website. I'll get him up on the website next week, and we will go from there. So I'm looking forward to all that. Now, as I sit down here and was thinking about kind of a main topic to talk about today, and like a main focus, I just kind of got a handful of things that we're going to talk about. And I am a member of the USCCA. Good or bad, I don't know. I don't pay for it. It's because I had them in my class at one point, so I kind of have a free membership, which when I told them not to come back to my class anymore because they were trying to provide insurance and stuff for my students or sell insurance, when I told them not to come to my class anymore, I figured they'd probably yank my lifetime membership. And if they're listening to the podcast right now, they probably will, because maybe I just slipped through the cracks. But I still have a lifetime membership as far as I know. When I told them they couldn't come back anymore, I figured that'd disappear. But I still get the magazine. Now, I will say their concealed carry USCCA magazine, whatever they call it, like, that's a pretty good magazine. Like, if you're into reading magazines, that's a good one to get. It's thick. It's got a lot of good articles in it. Really good. And so sometimes I will peruse those and see if anything pops out at me. As far as, even help me figure out some topics and whatnot. But there was an article about some new guns. So occasionally you'll get these articles that write about these new guns that maybe you haven't really heard of before. And so I kind of get a little fascinated by this, because as much as I like high-end guns and I like spending money, and getting like good, nice guns, I look at these newcomers to the market, stuff that you don't hear about. Maybe these small, little, tiny companies that make this firearm, and they're trying to get it out to the public and whatnot. And those interest me as well. There is, I'm looking here, it's called the Eric's. Oh, where is that? Yeah, it's called the Eric's Delta And I guess it's been out for a year or so, I think, because they got a few different generations. This is the Eric's Delta Gen 2. Really inexpensive, really affordable gun. Like when I'm talking like $400. It's got pretty good reviews from what I see. Now, I don't have my hands up. This is not something you're going to probably run to the gun store and find. You can order a lot of them online. Maybe if you got a guy that just strictly runs a gun store where he orders guns, I'm sure he could probably get him in as well. They seem pretty good. There was a whole article dedicated to them in the USCCA magazine. And, they look cool. That doesn't mean anything. They still have to function. They're Glock-like. Like, all these new guns, they're just Glock. They're pretty Glock-like. Now, I know there's people listening to the podcast that says, oh, God, Dodge, just a new gun. Like, it's just a cheap gun. Like, it's another Taurus, or it's another this, or it's Tauruses go bang, too. Like, they go bang all the time. You press the trigger, they just do. But I think back to the rise of the Canic. When Canic came out, maybe people don't know if they've come to firearms a little later, or they just don't remember, or they didn't pay attention. But when the Canic first came to market, right? And Canic is the thing right now. When the Canics first came to market, they were $300 and $400 guns. They were. I remember someone, a buddy of mine called me and goes, hey, my son, he bought his first pistol from this guy, and he wants to shoot it. Can we come up to your range real quick? He was a friend of mine. I was like, yeah, sure, that's fine. Come on up. I'll check it out. It's a new gun, And so he got this gun out, and it was this thing called the Canic. And I'd seen them before, but never really handled them much. And really affordable gun. And I picked it up, and I'm like, holy crap, this is not bad. Like, this has a good trigger on it, right? And then I just realized that, for the money, that was a hell of a gun for the money that the kid paid for it, which was right around $400. And when I did my radio show and I first mentioned that the Canic was, like, I was really impressed with it. Like, people should check out this Turkish gun. Like, they should really check this firearm out. Just don't look at it and go, oh, that's a cheap gun, I don't want to touch it. They've kind of come in, they've really come into their own. I was poo-pooed about it what a phrase. I was kind of just looked at funny. People gave me the side eye when I talked about it. It's just one of those things that hit the market. It's kind of this Turkish thing. I just don't know about it. And now they're everywhere. The Canics are everywhere. In so much that they're a good enough gun now, right, that as much as I don't like the guy, the Terran Tactical, they came out with their version of it, the TTI Combat. I mean, the Canics are reliable. They're good. They have the best factory trigger known to man. They're a good gun. And so the reason why I'm telling you about the Canic is some of these guns, and I don't know if this Eric's or whatever they're called is going to turn out to be like the Canic, but just because something's new on the market, man, if it's a few $100 and you got some money to spare, they're worth checking out sometimes, right? Because you never know what's going to become of them. What's going to become of the companies? Is it going to just catch on and take off? Because everything has to start somewhere. So sometimes I find it a little interesting to look at these guns and say, I want to try one of those out. Worst case scenario, I got an extra gun for class or just something like that, or something you can have fun with, right? If it doesn't turn out to be fantastic, but you never know. So you got to kind of keep an eye on these up and comers, right? Get on the ground level, buy them when they're cheap, right? So it's just something to kind of look at. I know that there's been other firearms that come out that come out and they're kind of expensive, right? When they first come out and you don't know anything about them, they end up being really good as well. But some of these low-range guns can really climb the ranks and they can kind of gain quite the following. I'm thinking of, what is out there right now. Now, I haven't shot any of these. I haven't shot the Eric's. I read an article on it. There's another gun I see all over the social media and on YouTube. It's called the Rost Martin. So yeah, they're kind of Glocky type guns, Glock style guns. But I mean, so's the Shadow Systems that everybody likes, right? I mean, so we got the Rost Martin. I think it's pretty affordable as well. Again, I've never touched one. I've never put my hands on one. I even saw that Diamondback actually has a newer, maybe it's been out for a while, but I just saw it, a newer set of revolvers that look really nice. Now, they're not super cheap. They're pretty expensive, but they look like they're pretty nice revolvers. If you're into revolvers, you might check those out. So it's just these different weird guns that you see, right? And you never know, are they going to take off or are they going to not? I don't know. Like I said, I know Canik ended up being phenomenal, right? Again, they didn't start at the cheaper end, I don't believe, but the shadow systems came out, and everyone loves the shadow systems. Like I got a bunch of guys that take class from me, and they've got multiple shadow systems. I see them in a lot of my classes, and people absolutely love them, and then they're good guns, and they had to start somewhere, and someone gave them a chance, and there you go. So it's just kind of one of those things. Just keep an eye. Don't push the newcomers off to the sides. Check them out. Give them a shot. Now, if it's a Taurus, they've been around. You know what you're getting with a Taurus. So, yeah. So that's just kind of been on my mind. Another thing that I've been thinking about, more lately is, I know a lot of guys that are gun guys, right? And a lot of them, a portion of them they're all in. They do carry. They carry every day, everywhere that they go. And I think that's absolutely fantastic. And then I get these other gun guys that they talk about that they carry, and I think they do carry, but they don't carry all the time, or they like guns, and why is that? Why does someone go to all the trouble? They get their concealed carry permit. They say they want to carry, but they don't carry. And these aren't just people that are new to firearms. These are people that you think should carry a gun, but they don't. What is stopping you? Are you lazy? Or is it because you can't find the right holster? I mean, what is stopping you? Now, I've talked about this before, the fact that people, they'll shoot one gun really well, but yet then they want to carry this little micro gun, and that blows my mind. That's just dumb. Carry the gun that you have. Carry the gun that you shoot well with and that you're proficient with. Now, that doesn't mean you can't own a bunch of guns, but don't carry a gun because it just disappears into your holster or disappears into your pocket. It's super comfortable, but yet this is a little teeny tiny gun that you never shoot at all, and your fingers don't fit into the trigger guard, and it doesn't fit into your hand. Like, that's ridiculous. And I know I sound like a broken record because that's something I talk about nonstop, something I talk about constantly. And so, but man, I see it all. I see it all the time. Gun guys who say they carry, who want to carry, but don't carry because it's uncomfortable. And you look at these guys, and they're relatively. I'm going to go down this direction. They're relatively physically fit. Like, they can carry that gun. Like, they can pretty comfortably carry, appendix carry that gun, or carry that gun anywhere they want. Like, they don't have struggles. They're not a bigger guy. They don't have to pad that gun up. They don't have to customize their holster. Like, they can just put it on and go, and they conceal that gun well, and they don't print, and it's not going to leave a sore spot in their belly or their gut because they might have some experience around the waist a little bit, but these guys just won't carry a gun. Like, I don't understand why. I think it's because they're lazy, honestly. I think it's because they're lazy. I'm going to call everyone out. If you don't carry a gun, I think it's because you're lazy. But I was looking at my shifting gears once again. Like, we're going to have maybe we might have 13 gears today, 13 gear shifts today. I was looking at my Canik, the TTI Combat I have. This one that my son has been shooting. Yeah, he can pick up my 2011s. He can pick up my TSOS Night Stalker. He can pick up the Platypus, and he could shoot those great, right? But I mean, they're the guns that you can shoot good. They got a really nice trigger on them. Like, they're super refined. Like, they're good shooting guns, right? And he can shoot those really, really well. So I mentioned that it was time to put him in to have him start shooting something else, right? We'll get him on a striker fired gun, something that has a decent trigger, but that he has to work on learning the trigger a little bit. Learn the slack, learn the take up, learn the wall, learn the press, learn the reset, all that stuff. and his little hands are just getting to the point where he can do this. They need to get a little bit bigger so he can square up on the trigger just a little bit better without breaking his grip, and we're working on that. I feed the kid. I just can't get him to grow. So it'll probably happen over the next year. But anyhow, he's been putting a lot of dry fire in with the TTI Combat and the Mantis and all that stuff. And he knows how to use sights. He knows how to use iron sights, and that is probably, and I don't know why, that is the one gun I have, and it's probably that doesn't have an optic on it. And it's probably because it's not one that I'm like, it's not one that I shoot all the time. It's a decent gun, but it's not one that I shoot all the time. And I'm kind of thinking maybe I need to break open the wallet and put an optic on that for him. I just haven't done it yet because I'm just kind of like lazy, I guess, but I'll get an optic on there. He can run an optic just fine. I just wanted to make sure the gun fit him well, and it does, but it doesn't. And it's not the gun's fault. It's because he needs bigger hands. So we'll just, I don't know. I should put an optic on that. I make a decision on the podcast live. This is my decision-making process. I swear, when I'm by myself and I'm out shooting or I'm whatever I'm doing, this is my decision-making process. I talk to myself all day. When I'm by myself all day, it's like I could record a podcast literally all day long because it's just me talking to myself. Like, that's all it is. I ask myself questions. I give myself answers. Is that healthy? I don't know if that's healthy or not. Maybe I'm a little cracked. I don't know. But my life is like a podcast. All day long. I should just hit record on my phone and just record my conversations all day. You guys would learn so much about me. So much insight, I tell you. So much insight. What else do I got to talk about today? Anything? God, this is a freaking short podcast if I don't come up with something else to touch on. Let me look here. I was having a conversation. Let me find the conversation. I was having a conversation with Magnum the other day, and it was about my last podcast when I talked about guns. Like the gun that just makes you a good shooter. Like your cheater gun is what I think is what we called it. The cheater gun. And we went down. I don't want to dig out the text messages right now because I'm probably not going to find them. James has a lot of guns and Magnum, whatever you want to freaking call the guy. And he rotates carry guns out. Like he rotates a gun out like once a month as far as from his carry gun. So he's pretty proficient with all of them. But even him, he still has that one gun that he's really good with. And he's like, what, is kind of this philosophical, question. Like, okay, so if I've got that gun that I'm really good with, and it's my gun that I feel like it's like the cheat code gun. Like I feel like I can shoot it really good no matter what I do. Like why am I not just carrying that gun all day long, all the time? Why do I trade firearms out? I think I made him think a little bit as to why do I have all these guns? Why do I collect these guns? If I found one and it's the cheat code, why buy any more? And I was like, we were kind of going back and forth, and I was like, he brought up the phrase, fear the man with one gun because he probably knows how to use it type of situation. I was like, I don't know, maybe the phrase should be changed to fear the man with multiple guns and multiple tools because, he probably knows how to use them all. And so I think that is the challenge. You've got that gun, the cheat code gun that everything's perfect. I think the challenge, right, would be to go and master all your other guns in that way. Learn how they work. I think that's possible. I think all your guns could be cheat code guns. You just got to put the time and the effort in to do that. One of the things I've thought about doing in an upcoming class for my elite guys is to have them they all have their guns that they like to shoot, and they shoot their carry guns. They shoot really well. Like they could shoot them with their eyes closed. Right, that's their cheat code weapons. I thought about putting something together where they have to carry something crappy, right? Because whether you're shooting a high point, whether you're shooting a Taurus, whether you're shooting a little DB9, it doesn't matter. Whatever you're shooting, right? The fundamentals, now you might have to tweak them a little bit and change it, but the fundamentals are essentially all the same, right? The grip, the sight picture, the trigger press, the stance, all those fundamentals are the same, right? They across the board. Now, if it's a smaller gun, you got a bigger hand and a smaller gun than what you're used to, you might have to change your grip just a smidge, right, to adjust. Now, you might have to learn that trigger. But, I mean, really, honestly, let's talk about that. Learn the trigger. I'm going to say learn the trigger. Yeah, when you start shooting, you got to learn a trigger. Now, all triggers are going to be 100% different. You got light, crisp, short, long, crappy, squishy, you name it, right? You do have to learn the trigger. Honestly, for me, think about this. I can pick up a gun, make sure it's unloaded. I can dry fire that gun a few times, kind of figure out what the trigger is, and I can go from there. It's all about learning the trigger. I get that, but it's also about what? Learning the trigger, but it's also about controlling your trigger finger, having control, isolating the muscle group in your trigger finger, and being able to control it and make it do what you want to do. So how do you shoot accurately? You press the trigger without disturbing your sights, which means you press the trigger, you move that trigger finger without moving the rest of your hand, trying to control and isolate. Like, that's what you need to do. And so you should legitimately be able to pick up, once you master that control, that self-mastery of not the gun, of your shooting hand, of that muscle isolation, that kind of stuff, that trigger finger isolation, right? Once you master that, you should honestly be able to pick up a gun, give it a half dozen dry fires so you know what you're in for, and you should just be able to pick it up and shoot it correctly. Right? And I'm not saying I'm perfect at it, but I get handed a lot of guns in my class where people say, hey, the sights are off. The sights are horrible. You need to shoot this gun for me. And I've never shot the gun before. And I've got 25 people staring at me, watching me do this. Oh, the instructor, which I don't shoot much in class, but the instructor, he's shooting. Like, I would rather get my platypus out and shoot that, because I know that's my cheat code gun, right? Someone might hand me some knockoff Glock or a G43 or something maybe something I've never even seen or shot before, right? And they're like, sights are off. Can you shoot this? And then I'll pick it up, and it's up to me to do what? To not make a fool out of myself. First of all, they've just handed me a couple rounds of ammo. I don't want to shoot a bunch of their ammo, but I just need to show them that the gun is accurate. They're just looking for accuracy. Can the instructor put one in the bullseye, right? And prove to them that it's all in your trigger press. It's all in that control, that self-mastery, right? And so I need to be able to pick it up, dry fire it once or twice, throw a round in there, and get a good shot without looking like a fool, because I need to show them. Because if I don't hit that bullseye, or I hit too far low left or right or whatever, anywhere but where I'm aiming, they're gonna immediately in their brain look at that and go, oh, the trigger's not the trigger. Oh, I knew it. The sights were off. And then in their mind, they're never going to be, that gun will never be accurate, because it's always going to be the gun's fault, right? So I need to be able to pick it up and put one in there. And I'm not trying to say I'm fantastic. I mean, we all have work, but I can pick up that gun typically, and I won't ever say anything 100%. I can pick up that gun typically, and I can press that trigger. And no matter, even if I haven't really felt that trigger before, you go slow enough, you have that self-mastery, that trigger finger self-mastery, I can press that trigger, and I can crack one off into the bullseye, or really freaking close, and show them that it's them, right? And I don't do that. I don't just say, give me your gun, let me show you how this works. Typically, they got to shove it into my hand and say, shoot this, and I think the sights are off. See what you think, that kind of thing, right? But, they're looking at me like that's my moment to prove to them. Sometimes you have to show people, or you have to let people come to it on their own, that their trigger press is the problem, because they won't believe you. As an instructor, I come across this a lot, and I know the guys that help me do. They do not believe that they are pressing the trigger because they've never, maybe they're new or newer, or they shoot a lot, and so they don't believe that they think they're pressing the trigger correctly, right? But because they don't understand. A lot of times to learn the trigger is you got to put in time, you got to put in effort, you got to explain it 6 different ways to somebody. You got to try and show them. And some people literally just have to come to it themselves. Some people have that little flinchy thing going on. And it's oh, when's that gun going to go bang? When's that gun going to go bang? It's going to go right there. And then they, as they're pressing the trigger, they just jerk the holy crap out of it. And that bullet goes everywhere, right? It's a mental block, something that they have to learn to get over. And you could, dry fire is very good for that, but sometimes dry fire doesn't even work. I think it'll get you a lot closer. Sometimes, a lot of times it helps, and it will help solve the problem. Sometimes it just gets them a little closer. They just have to figure it out. They have to figure out how to control that trigger press, control that finger, right? That trigger finger, isolate everything. So it's a whole ordeal. Some people, it's rough. It leaves me with, like, you're just like head scratching. Right? You see them shoot, they see you shoot, they see how to do it, but for them to perform it, it's really, really hard. So I don't know where I went with that, but take that how you will. It is the podcast you are going to get for the weekend, but I got to go. I got to get some other stuff done. I am out of here. You guys have a great week. Thanks for listening. Share the podcast. I'll see you back here next weekend.